Hi everyone, and welcome back to Learning Kitchen Live. My name's Valerie. I'm the Manager of Nutrition Services here at Community Servings, and I'm so happy to be back with you today. Just a few reminders before we get started cooking some really delicious protein-packed lunch foods. From now on, starting recently and moving forward, these episodes are all sponsored by our friends at Boston Scientific. So a huge thank you to them for sponsoring our Learning Kitchen Live series. And as a reminder, after today's episode, we will post the recipes in the comments section. And there's also going to be links to a survey there that we would really appreciate you taking a few minutes of your time to complete. Actually, I think it takes about a minute to complete. It's going to be posted in both English and Spanish, and we would love for you to give us some feedback on how we're doing and what you would like to see through Learning Kitchen Live. And this week, we're also going to start posting some handouts with information about different nutrition topics. Just for your information, you can download them and print them, and hopefully you'll find them informative. So with that, we're going to get started. Today's inspiration was teaching everybody about making a healthy, filling, protein-packed, but plant-based lunch. And these are the kinds of things to eat in the middle of your day that aren't going to make you want to take a nap after lunch, going to give you some energy, help you get through an afternoon slump, and fill you up with lots of good vegetables for good health in general. So the two handouts that are going to be in the comments section afterwards are on healthy protein foods and also on fiber, because even though that's not the focus today, if you've listened to any of our Learning Kitchen Live episodes, you've heard us talk endlessly about fiber and how important it is to get enough in your diet. But these two salads that I'm going to start with actually happen to be packed with fiber. So you get kind of a bonus with protein. You get a lot of fiber in these as well. So with that, I'm going to start making what's called a smashed chickpea salad. And this is a really delicious salad on its own. It can also be like a vegetarian stand-in for a chicken salad or tuna salad. It goes great on toasted bread. You can eat it on crackers. You could eat it over a bed of lettuce, however you want. So we're going to go ahead and get that started. And the base of this salad, as you might guess, is chickpeas. So here I have a can of rinsed and drained chickpeas, and I want to just make a note about canned beans in general. I happen to be using Goya brand. You can find all kinds of brands at the store, but they make a low sodium line of beans, and a lot of brands do now too. And this can make a huge difference with your sodium intake. When you're using any kind of canned bean, rinsing it and draining it can wash away a lot of the sodium, which is much better for you, but you can now buy them low sodium too, so that's a really great option when it's available to you. I am also using in this recipe some whole kernel fire roasted corn, and I'm just using it from the can. You could use frozen corn if you wanted to. This was right next to the beans, so I was able to pick that up. And you can use regular corn. It doesn't need to be fire roasted. But what I am going to do is quickly saute the corn to just get some of the moisture out of it. If you weren't using fire roasted corn, you could get like a little bit of brown on it, and that gives it an extra delicious flavor. So I am going to turn my stove on. I'm actually going to put a little bit of oil in my pan just so it doesn't stick, because I'm not using a non-stick pan. Let that heat up for a second. But as the recipe implies, this is a smashed chickpea salad, and smashing the chickpeas up gives it this really nice consistency that you can eat on a piece of bread or a cracker without like the chickpeas rolling off all over the place. So I am just going to take my potato masher. You could do this with a fork, or you can even actually use the bottom of a glass if you need to smash them up. So I'm going to do that. You don't want them to turn into the consistency of mashed potatoes. You want to leave some texture, but just get them a little bit smushed up. I think that's good. I don't think any of these will roll off a cracker or a piece of bread. Here we go. And I'm gonna corn, just heat it up a little. If you're using a non-stick skillet for this, you actually don't even need any oil. Again, I don't want this to stick. And to this, we're gonna add a bunch of really flavorful things, but like many things we cook here, this is super customizable based on what you like. So I am going to add about a 1/4 cup of chopped red onion. I'm not gonna add all of this, about a 1/4 cup. And I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of chopped dill pickle. Now, I love pickles. You could put pickles in anything and I will eat it. But this adds like a really nice briny flavor. You could use capers if you wanted to. You could leave that out completely. With the pickles that I added, because they're like salty and briny, I'm not gonna really add any additional salt to this recipe just to control for the overall sodium. I hear my corn starting to sizzle over here. And then I'm gonna just add some components to make a dressing. So I'm gonna use mayonnaise and mustard, and some lemon juice and lemon zest. Again, you could do anything you wanted with this. You could eliminate this. You could just use a little bit of oil and vinegar if you wanted to keep it vegan and not use the mayonnaise, or you could use a vegan mayonnaise. So I am going to add 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise and 2 tablespoons of mustard, and I did not have my tablespoon in front of me. I'm just gonna add this right to the bowl. I'm using Dijon mustard, but a really like yummy, hot, spicy mustard I think would be good in this as well. And I'm gonna add about a tablespoon or 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice and about a teaspoon of lemon zest. So I just have a lemon that I've washed, and I'm gonna put a little bit of zest in here. And again, if this doesn't appeal to you, I think the lemon's gonna add a nice acidity here, but you can leave this out. All right, that's about a teaspoon of lemon zest. And then I am going to get a couple tablespoons of lemon juice. This is one of my favorite kitchen tools, by the way. It's like a citrus juicer. It's super easy to use. You can buy them, like you can find them at the dollar store. You can buy them for a couple bucks here and there, but you basically cut some citrus in half and just press, and it juices it and it captures all the seeds too. So I love this device. I'm gonna mix that up. So again, this is less of like what you would think of as a normal bean salad, and more almost like a replacement for like a chicken or tuna salad. Give my corn a stir. And I'm just doing this to get some of the moisture out of it so it doesn't make the salad too soggy overall. But one of the benefits, we hear a lot about protein, and sort of the general spiel out there for years has been that Americans eat too much protein, and I don't always think that's true, but the important thing is to eat the right kinds of proteins that are really good and healthy for you. And beans are certainly a really super healthy form of protein, as are nuts and nut butters, and lean meats and soy-based foods, so like tofu and edamame, which we're gonna do in our next salad. So plant-based proteins can be a super healthy addition to your diet and can be a wonderful meat replacement if you're looking to cut back on meat in general. So that's what I like about this. It's a really nice alternative, and it's so flavorful, you're not even gonna miss having meat in it as a meal. All right, this is coming along nicely. And one of the benefits of having a good protein-based meal is it fills you up and keeps you full for a longer amount of time. So, having chickpeas on bread, or like even a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You get that protein and it keeps you full for a long time. The fiber in here too is going to keep you full for a while. And all of this is going to, first of all, prevent you from, like I said earlier, feeling like you need to curl up under your desk and take a nap after lunch. But it's also going to help you get through this like a mid-afternoon slump when your blood sugar and your energy drops really low. So it's this will kind of keep your blood sugar steady, and you're going to feel just better throughout the rest of your afternoon. All right, I think we're good here. So I'm going to kind of eyeball this. I don't need the whole can of corn, but I'm going to add about a cup of it to this. It's about half of it. And I am going to mix that up. You know, you could also do this with almost any bean that you wanted. If you didn't have chickpeas, you could use white beans or cannellini beans, or even pinto beans would be delicious in this, whatever you have on hand. All right, so that is our smashed chickpea salad, and we'll come back and plate that up in a few minutes, but I'm going to move over here and make a delicious edamame salad next. And this is a simple edamame salad. That's actually what the recipe is called. And it's, again, a super easy way to get some protein into your lunch. I like eating things like this with some crackers on the side, or mix, like I'll often make something like this and mix it up with lettuce or even raw spinach, and have it as like a really good hearty lunch. So what we are going to start with are 2 cups of shelled edamame that have been cooked. So they were frozen. I just bought them in the freezer, got them from the freezer section in the grocery store. I boiled them, didn't add salt or anything like that. And then we have the shelled edamame, which frankly, I think these are delicious. Like, I would just spoon feed these to myself. If you've not had edamame before, you're missing out. They're so good. And to this, we're going to add a half of a diced red onion. And I'm adding a half a cup of chopped parsley. So the recipe calls for cilantro or parsley. I think cilantro for many people would be delicious in this. I am one of those people for whom cilantro tastes like soap. So I tend to avoid it and do not put it in anything. So we're doing parsley today, but if you like cilantro, I'm positive it would be delicious in this. And I need a couple of teaspoons of grated fresh ginger. So this is just ginger root that's been peeled, and I'm going to use my microplane and grate a couple of teaspoons of that. This is the best way to deal with ginger, is using like a fine grater, like a microplane. If you don't have one, you can use a box grater. It's a little harder, or you can just chop it finely, and that's totally okay. You don't want to use powdered ground ginger in something like this, though, and I don't think that would be super tasty. So I'm going to get that out and add that. And then for some extra protein and crunch, I have about maybe a little more than a quarter cup of chopped toasted walnuts. So I just quick toasted these in a pan on the stove before we got started today, just so they would be done and could cool off a little bit. I like putting them in things. I love nuts in anything, and I think they give this a nice crunch. They add some extra protein and fiber, but certainly you could leave these out. If you have a nut allergy, sunflower seeds would be really good in this, or even pumpkin seeds would be good too, or just nothing. It would be fine without them. And then I am going to add to this, just need to steal some things from over here. To this, I am going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. So about a quarter teaspoon salt and like just a pinch of pepper. And I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Two tablespoons of apple cider of apple cider vinegar. and a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Now, if you're not going to eat this right away, making the dressing on the side and dressing it when you're ready to eat it would be the best idea. This will probably get eaten today, so I'm just going to mix it all in. But when you're making vegetable-based salads like this, especially with things that can wilt, like the parsley and even the edamame could get a little mushy, making the dressing on the side is always a good idea. All right. And that is it. See how easy that is? You know, I know we did that some of the prep was done beforehand, but honestly, this is like, you can't get any simpler than this. And again, with some like whole grain crackers or a piece of whole grain bread, this is a really good protein and fiber packed lunch, super customizable for whatever you want. So look at that. We're a few minutes into this and we have 2 salads completely made. So easy, and these are the kinds of things you could make at the beginning of the week and then eat throughout the week. The last thing we're going to do is make a sweet treat. We're going to make 1-minute banana chocolate chip oatmeal cookie bites. So I am going to grab the ingredients for that. And I decided to include this. There is a little bit of protein and fiber in this, but I am someone who needs something sweet after lunch. Like, I am always craving like a bite of something sweet, whether it's just a little bit of dark chocolate or some fruit, but like I kind of often just want chocolate. Fruit's sweet and all, but sometimes I just really need like a piece of candy or something after lunch, and that's not always the healthiest choice. But these are a really reasonably healthy alternative for something sweet to eat. So, and it's also a great way to use up an overripe banana. So I'm just going to take one really ripe banana, and I'm going to just mash that up with a fork. We've said this before while doing Learning Kitchen, and is a great thing to do with overripe bananas, if you're not going to eat them, is to peel them, stick them in a plastic bag, and put them in your freezer. And then you just need to defrost them, and they're ready to go for things like this, or banana bread, or muffins, or pancakes, or anything like that. I prefer my bananas almost on the underripe side. Like, this banana wouldn't be appealing to me to eat regularly, but you mix it up with some chocolate chips, and it's going to be delicious. All right, so that's good and mashed up. I am going to measure out 1 cup of oats. So these are just rolled oats. Oops. And I'm going to mix that up a little bit. So oats are a great source of soluble fiber, and there's oatmeal and oatmeal cookies, and plenty of ways to eat them, but the more the more basic and less sugar you have added to them, obviously the better. But soluble fiber is the fiber, the type of fiber that really helps keep you feeling full. It can help things move through your digestive system, and it's also the fiber that has the most benefit in terms of lowering your cholesterol, your LDL cholesterol, which is your bad cholesterol. So getting oats in your diet is always, it's a really great way to add healthy fiber. All right, so I have the oats and banana nicely incorporated, and now I'm going to add I just have some semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup and maybe a little more, because who doesn't want more chocolate? And mix that up. Now, what we're going to do with this seems a little unconventional, but I'm going to make little cookie-shaped balls, put them on a plate and microwave them, and that's it. This is like the simplest recipe, and it's so easy. So I'm going to take these. The banana is what's really holding it together right now. Just make some balls. Make sure there's a good chocolate chip to oatmeal and banana ratio in each one. You know, these are very similar to like, you could do something like this and throw peanut butter in here and just stick it in the fridge and you wouldn't even have to microwave it. That would be really delicious too. But there's lots of great suggestions online. If you Google like no-bake cookies, you come up with tons of really good recipes like this. They're all generally healthy because they're usually like peanut butter based to hold as like a binder. So they're a great choice for like a healthy lunch snack. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab something to wipe my hands. And I'm going to microwave these for, oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to put the salt in. I even kept it aside so I didn't get any black pepper in it. So we're just going to sprinkle those with a little salt because I do actually think that these need a little bit of salt in them. A little unconventional, but my coworkers who are going to probably eat these afterwards are not going to mind. So, all right, I'm going to microwave these for about 30 seconds, flip them over and microwave them for a few more seconds, and they should be done. This times vary by microwave. The one we have here is pretty strong, so I think 30 seconds is enough. If yours isn't as powerful, you may need a little more time. But what you're looking for is for things to get like a little melty and just make sure they stick together. Right. I'm going to just use my fork, flip them over. And that's it. This is a great treat to make like really any time of day, to be honest with you. But hopefully this has inspired you to make some really simple recipes that are packed with protein and fiber. They're going to keep you feeling full throughout the day, and they're super healthy. And you don't have to feel, you know, guilty about eating anything here. It's going to be just like a healthy addition to your day. Let me grab those. And there we have it. So you can see they're a little bit melty. They're nice and bound together. I even got a little chocolate on my hands. And once they cool and stop steaming, please don't eat them right out of the microwave because you risk burning your mouth. They are going to be really delicious. So again, I hope I've inspired you to make some really healthy protein-packed treats and that you enjoy these. And again, thank you to our friends at Boston Scientific for sponsoring Learning Kitchen Live. And remember to please take our survey. We really, really appreciate the feedback. And we'll see you back here next week.